In today's video, we're going to talk about a class I just finished up at Tactical Response, the Advanced Immediate Action Medical, which was medical with a really good twist. And anyway, we'll give you a quick kind of an after-action report coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. I'm here with Andrew. Andrew, pronounce your last name again.
Smersak.
Smersak. So Andrew runs, what channel do you have?
Combat Art Training.
Combat Art Training. He not only has a channel, but he also makes some cool, really cool nylon gear and some soap and some other stuff. I'll put some links in the video description below. But I met Andrew here for the first time at this class at Tactical Response. It's Advanced Immediate Action Medical. And what that is we took Immediate Action Medical, I did a couple years ago, which is it's life-saving stuff. It's not first aid. It's life-saving, trauma type, save people's life kind of stuff. And this was the advanced version of that, so we kind of went further than the first time. And Andrew, what did you think about the class?
So I loved it. Now there was some review of the stuff we had learned before, but pretty much everyone was squared away on the stuff from Immediate Action Medical. Now in the advanced one, we went a little bit deeper, did some more improvised ways to apply aid to yourself and others, and then also the force on force. I was like that was the best.
Yeah, and so Andrew was a United States Marine Corps veteran, so it's not like he's a newbie to training. But if you're not familiar with force on force, so I just want to give you a quick look at that. So what this was, and nowadays especially it's relevant. It's one thing to know how to use your skills and stuff, but it's another thing to maybe, we're talking about, there's so many mass casualties and mass shootings, and that's really in the news now. I thought this is especially timely to bring this to you because we did some force on force scenarios after we go over some more advanced training, and then basically like mass shooter events and casualty events. And so not only are you got to worry about your life-saving skills, but you got to worry about your life-saving skills. And we use what's called a force on force pistol. So we're all wearing masks and protective, gear, but this is a real Glock pistol, but it's not a real Glock pistol. It's a real Glock pistol, but you look at the barrel on this thing.
It's a Glock 17T.
Yeah, and what it 17, and what it does, you can see these are the rounds it shoots. So it shoots these little rounds, and they're just little paintball rounds. So it shoots actual paintball rounds, and there's an extensive safety process that we go through before any guns, before we even touch these guns. You're unloaded. Any weapons, ammunition, knives, guns, whatever in the room are locked in a safe, and we have extensive multi-section pat downs to make sure nobody has any live ammunition or live weapons, because safety is really important, because we're going to be shooting each other with paintballs. So basically it's just a mini little paintball, but it functions in a pistol, so you can really get, you don't have to have air tanks and all that stuff like you would on a paintball gun. You get an actual real, more realistic experience. And wow, I tell you, it was amazing to me. We did several scenarios both yesterday and today. It was a 2-day class, and we learned a lot. I learned, we kind of like you said, we kind of reinforced what we knew, what we learned the first time, because everything's a perishable skill if you don't renew yourself. And by the way, Andrew he's also an instructor in Florida. He does a lot of training, and man, he's got his act together. So if you're in Florida and you're looking for somebody to train with firearms or tactical medicine, Andrew is the bomb, man. He's got it together. I'm telling you, he's got it together. He came up with this kit, and I'm looking at this kit and said, man, where'd you get that? What about that? I've never seen that before. He's got he knows what he's doing, is my point. So I highly encourage you to check him out. And again, there'll be a link in the video description for that. But I just kind of wanted to look, that one of my goals is to have everybody in America, everybody that watches my videos, carrying a tourniquet. And something like this really brought that home, the importance of not just of having it, but of practicing with it and knowing how to use it and learning what you don't know. And that's usually what I learn in classes. I learn what I don't know, what I need to work on.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way I explain it to people is when you take a class, you should leave inspired, which I know everyone today is leaving inspired. And also, it's kind of like you always think you know this stuff and there's this other stuff to learn, but really there's so much out there and so many great places to go to. And, like here is a wealth of knowledge, and people walk in that you haven't even seen on YouTube before, and you have the most interesting conversations. And
oh man, it was
so much.
yeah. And not only do you meet some great people, and it gives you confidence that there's still people that do care about making sure that they take care of themselves and others. Because what I really drew away from this, like our biggest scenario was not about you're helping yourself. It was a mass shooter event. I mean, that was the finale. The grand finale was a mass shooter event, and you got to go in and try to make sure you don't get shot by the bad guy, because if you get shot by the bad guy, you can't help anybody. So you got to make sure that you can protect yourself from the bad guy, because it's just like an airplane, right? They tell you if the oxygen mask drops, you got to put your mask on first, so you can help other people. Well, if there's somebody shooting, you got to stop the shooter before you can help other people.
Yeah.
If at least if they're in your vicinity. And so, what if you've never taken any force on force training? And I've taken one other class before. This is my second force on force experience, and what I really learned was, man, there's no way to replicate there's no better way to replicate the effects of adrenaline on your mind and on your senses and on your physiology and your psychology than to do force on force training. People say you can go do push-ups and do running jack, jumping jacks and do running all that, and that puts your heart rate up, but it doesn't really crank up your adrenaline.
Yeah, and there's nothing emotional behind push-ups.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like when you're dealing with these scenarios, and if you sometimes I have a hard time being like, okay, this is my wife, or this is my friend, but if you can do that, or even if it was just innocent bystanders, being in these scenarios where you have to look back on the way you performed or the decisions you made and reflect on that, it's a lot more powerful, right?
Yeah.
And there's a stress too that if you're not doing it right, you could get shot with that. Now that's not that bad, getting shot with that, but thinking about that psychologically, am I able to make it home to my family?
Yeah. But what I like about the paintball is it's realistic. So if you do get shot with it, you can know, okay, would that shot have put me out, or would it have been on the arm? Would I just need to put a tourniquet on my own arm? Would I be able to stay in the fight and keep helping people, or did I just get killed and I'm done? I can't help anybody. And you won't know that if you go and bang. You won't know that probably if you're playing with airsoft, because you can feel it a little bit. But you got a marking cartridges. So you got a paintball mark on your clothes. You know where you got shot. I should have left my clothes on to make this video, but
Yeah.
they wound up getting cut off during the medical procedure because they're looking for wounds. So, but yeah, so I like this. What's one of your biggest takeaway you think from the 2-day class?
So, kind of like the last thing that we mentioned, like the one thing you learned, and that was okay, I'll give it 2 things. So number one is that you could be chosen to run that situation. You could be put in charge. And it's not that you wanted to, but that event just chose you, right? So being able to take charge, delegate, and make things happen. It's not going to be perfect, but you want to do the best you can and maintain composure. That would be this next thing, is that think you're going crazy, but chill out and remain calm other people down, and just do the right things.
And I'll say, and the way this thing works is, like, you have a group of people, right? And we're all in the same class, and some of us are role players, and we took turns being the bad guy, took turns being the good guy, took turns being on the role. And I noticed, like, when I was the good guy, so to speak, and I come in, I tried to calm myself down, but my adrenaline spiked up, and I really felt like overwhelmed and stressed, and I don't feel like I was very calm. But I was when I was one of the other, like a victim, and he was the good guy. Andrew was the good guy. I could hear him, through the walls, and he was very calm, and man, like, he'd be a good dude he'd be a good dude to have on your side. I promise you, have a good guy, because he was very calm, methodical, and the scenarios are set up pretty good where they tell you, some people are trying to do different things and make you stressed out and stuff. So it really was, you did a great job. But it's also it's just really the thing that I learned the most, it was reinforced again, was the fact that even though I told myself before the scenario starts and stuff, okay, because I've been watching, I've been listening to Jack Carr books and watching Jack Carr stuff, and terminal list stuff on TV just the last few days, and like I know the Navy SEALs have this thing that says, okay, stop, take a breath,
Yeah.
and, think about what you want to do, and then choose an action. And I told myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to breathe, calm down, and be calm. And man, as soon as I hear a gunshot go off, because these things sound like a pop, like a cap gun sort of. They're not quite as loud as a real gun, but you can tell.
Yeah.
And boom, there goes my adrenaline, and I'm like, oh, and so I learned again. It's just really, you got to recognize that you're going to have that adrenaline spike, and you got to force yourself in any kind of a stressful situation to take a deep breath, calm down, and be methodical.
Yeah.
Because that's important. And whether there's guns involved, or whether there's a car wreck, whether it's whatever, just calmness, calm, as calm as possible.
Yeah, and I think there's only because past few times I did force on force, I was still like,
Yeah.
even before the scenario starts, I'm like, I know it's about to happen. And it's like, start feeling amped up. I think, it's like Brian Greenwald was talking about, is that, that more exposure, you get more inoculate to that stress, makes it easier. Because for me, I got to role play. Well, I did the fight at Tactical Response, which if I could tell anyone to do any class, I would just tell them to do that, honestly. Yeah. I think you'll take all the training in the world you can if you've done that. But got to do that. Role play for the fight, role play for other forces, like with Prepared Patriot, North Carolina, and then doing this. After more exposure of it, I was like, okay. It was like, it's a lot easier.
So it's like inoculation. You really, if you get a chance. So yeah, and I'm with him. I tell everybody to take fighting pistol first at Tactical Response, because I think it's a really good. It changed my life. I mean, it literally changed my viewpoint. But there's a good argument to be made to take the fight first, which is the force on force. Because if you do that, like you said, if you take that first, you'll come back and you'll take fighting pistol, and you'll recognize the value of training.
Yeah,
So,
if you're super confident in all your gun stuff, go ahead and just take the fight. To do it in the correct order is the way they've laid out, where it's fighting pistol, then immediate action medical, and then the fight is the test. That is correct. But honestly, I mean, you take the fight, you'll want to take everything else too.
yeah.
And yeah, I love this class, man. Especially because they redid the curriculum and restructured it.
Yeah.
And they added all these force on force scenarios. I'm like, I want to do this again, because this is, even if like I knew everything in the book, you still got to practice it.
Oh, I do too, because I want to redeem myself, because I feel like, and that's the thing. You know what? There's no judgment, no criticism. You're usually your biggest critic. At least I'm my biggest critic. So, but
I'm not happy with some of the things I did in my best scenario, because I'm like, this. Why?
But the situation is, if you go in a mass shooter situation, and there's somebody killing innocent people, I mean, there's nothing good about that, and to expect everything to go perfect is naive. You can only do the best you can do, but the goal is to be able to do something good, to not just to have to be equipped to handle, at least to be able to be a benefit and to help other people and to have a better chance to survive. There's no guarantees in life, but the one thing that I think you can do to improve your chances to be more prepared and survive is training.
Absolutely.
And whether you want to be a hero or not, sometimes, like you said, you're just chosen, and you might be in that position where you just need to save your family.
I don't
right?
think I'll ever be in a mass shooting, but I think on the 4th of July, everyone who was in those mass shootings too, they thought the same thing.
Nobody plans that, and because if you think you're gonna go somewhere where you might need a gun, here's a great tip for you: just don't go there. Okay? Well, Andrew, we're waiting to close this thing down. I know we both got to drive, some drives to get home, but I really appreciate you taking a minute to share your thoughts with us. And again, check out Andrew's. Tell us your website again.
CombatArtTraining.com.
And it got some really cool homemade soap too, by the way. It smells great.
MyHealthySoap.com and CommyCleanserSoap.com. We'll send you a link. But
yeah, absolutely. It's really, really good stuff. And again, Tactical Response rocks the house, man. I'm telling you, they have some of the best training in the world. So really appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.